went to high school in Two Rivers and graduated in 1942, but I was drafted 3 weeks after that. Yeah, 3 weeks after. The Coast Army was a combat deception unit. It was designed to deceive the German soldiers. We didn't know what was going to happen to us. This was meant to be a suicide unit. We didn't believe that we would live very long because we were positioning ourselves in front of a German artillery position, and all it took was one of those shells in the right place, and I would never be here. But as it turned out, the Germans really had a lot of fear of what we were doing, and that's what kept us alive, and the fact that we could leave when we were done with our job, and that's why we were called the Coast Army. So I drove a half-track. Now, a half-track didn't last very long. It didn't have any armor underneath. It had a lot of armor around, and it had a track in the back which was very excellent. It could really travel over anything. The problem was the track was so good, the wheels didn't steer very well. So sometimes we just kept going straight. If there was snow or sand or gravel, it was a very bad vehicle. We could locate where a armored group left, and the Germans would think it was still there, but it was traveling somewhere else. This was on the Rhine River. This one impressed me because there was the water. We were broadcasting the sound across the water, and we could see all the activity that was taking place there. The Germans were really afraid that we had a great force to attack them with. Didn't know it was all fake. And this was all being monitored also by air. And there was a breakthrough, of course, taking place somewhere else. So as they gathered all their armor, and we could tell that because we had units that were in front of us also telling us what was happening. And when they started to decide to cross over, we were just surprised because they gave up, and they thought all these tanks were real. And we ended up with about 10,000 prisoners. Now, the one thing we weren't trained to do was take prisoners, not that enormous number of prisoners. So we had to call on a lot of the other units around us to help us, because we had to close up all the secret equipment events. But we did come across those, yes, in our travels. And, it's said today that they never existed. Well, I can tell you they did. And a lot of people died there, and it was obvious that a lot of Jewish people and other minority people died there. So it was a terrible situation. One of our soldiers reported back to us he could speak German. And he was assigned to one of these places, and he talked to a German soldier who told him that he was at a location where we had an action. He didn't know that it was an action that we had, but this soldier said that he gave up with his buddies because there were so many tanks, and our soldier told him, well, they were all rubber. And of course he wouldn't believe this, so we must have done a very effective job. The Second World War was responsible for 60 million people dying, and 396,000 American soldiers and sailors dying. So it was a war that I don't think you can picture.